Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. In this video, I'm going to be speaking to the creator of the score for the Marvel Moon Knight Disney Plus series, Hesham Nazih. But before we get into any of that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Thank you so much for taking your time out to speak to me today about scoring Moon Knight, because I mean, it is an incredible series, and obviously, I'm going to be honest, a really amazing score. Ever since I was listening to it beforehand, but once I knew I was speaking to you, I've pretty much been using it while I've been working and stuff to kind of, I must have listened to it about 20 times this week. So I'm definitely been enjoying the whole music. But I wanted to ask, what was your role on Moon Knight?
Well, it was my role. I did this. I mean, I wrote the soundtrack. Like that's basically that's one thing. That's one thing I'm sure you already know. It's just you know I kind of get what your point on what would I do in this the storyline of Moon Knight, and it's the story of Moon Knight. It's just a massive story. It's a story full of everything, for emotions, and romance, and vengeance, and anger, and fights, and adventures, and it's full of everything in full, in excess.
Yeah.
So I actually, what I was trying to do most of the time is to encompass all of that in a united and singular musical canvas, or a sort of.
Yeah, and sort of how did you kind of get involved in scoring Moon Knight? How did that whole come about?
Mohammed Diab, the show director, suggested me to Marvel, and then they contacted me afterwards, and then yeah, so basically this is how it happened. Although Mohammed and I never met before, never worked before, this was the first time I worked with him, or even meet him in person. So this was lovely.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how did that how work out with like the pandemic? What issues did you have like with communicating with the team stuff? Was it all through Zoom, or were you actually able to see anybody on set or anything?
Oh, I think we got used to it one way or another. We kind of, it's became the new normal, became the ordinary normal. It's becoming, um, you know, once of your daily routine is to have a one or two Zoom meeting per day. So this is how it worked. Basically, we got it was very effective, I must say. It was very time effective, and very effective in all senses. I mean, you know, and us composers, we're so used to be confined in our rooms, and not to move a lot, or not to travel a lot, and so yes, it was. I mean, technology was great in every sense, and during the recordings, monitoring the recordings online, and because some of the recordings, the great part of the recording took place in Vienna, Austria, and some of them were here in Cairo, Egypt, and the mix of the music was in Los Angeles. And I by no means I would have traveled all these places chasing the music. So yeah, it was all right. It was great, really.
Yeah. And so, where did what were some of the influences that you had on kind of bringing this unique sound to Moon Knight?
I mean, everything. I'm influenced, of course, by all the great scores and great composers I grew up loving, like, of course, the great John Williams, Bernard Herrmann, and of course John Barry, Ennio Morricone, all those iconic composers, and I think it's in the back of my mind. It's part of my musical culture. All the films and the scores I've ever watched in my life, it's throughout my life, and great aspect of the score had to be Egyptian. So
Yeah.
I think this was I wouldn't say easy, but this was the most clear part to me, because it's like appearing just in my nature, or talking or acting or behaving just to my nature, because uh, it had so many aspects, the score, really, the adventures, the romance, the Egyptian part, and I think I was influenced by, I cannot pinpoint one thing,
Yeah.
but I think I was influenced by all of that. My background, the my Egyptian background, the kind of music that I loved, the kind of score, all of
And,
that.
and was there any sort of, how important was it to really bring that sort of Egyptian sound into the sort of the score of Moon Knight?
I usually do not pay attention to where the situation happens, or the place of the occurrence, or that occurred or happened. But in Moon Knight, I always kept saying to myself, okay, there are some things that if it wasn't in Egypt, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, like like chasing the shouting the tunes, and trying to figure out where's Amitun, and all of that kind of thing. So yes, the Egypt was, and the aspect of Egypt in everybody's mindset, and because everybody has a we are all influenced by especially the ancient Egyptian civilization. We all have a kind of, you know imagination towards it. So it was important. It was I would say it was a big part of the musical lines and the musical composition, of course.
And also as well, kind of, to me, it was
Yeah.
about sounding different from the rest of the MCU and making it feel unique.
Mhm.
And I'm going to ask as well, what was your? Oh yeah, carry on.
Yeah. I thought you were asking me. I wanted I wanted it to sound different. We all want to sound different. We all want to sound different and unique in every way. But yeah, I think it was a great chance to bring new color
Yeah,
to the MCU,
that's cool.
musical color. So yeah,
And what was like your biggest challenge with creating the score for Moon Knight?
it's creating the score for Moon Knight. It's a great challenge. It's a great challenge because Moon Knight is big in the comic books, and this is the first time he's on the screen, and the first time for me to write score for a superhero, and the anticipation, the expectations, and that's for one thing, and for another thing, when I saw the first couple of episodes, I realized that this is an unusual show. This is great on so many levels. So, and like I was saying in the beginning, it's the show is full of everything at once, at full and at once. So, and it's very dynamically well balanced, in the sense that there's no one aspect overrides or overflows the others. So yeah, it was challenging in the best way, really. It has to be
That's
said.
cool. And
Yeah.
how does it compare to like working on previous series that you've worked on?
You mean in Egypt?
Yeah,
It's so different because I have never composed the music for a superhero. There is, because superheroes, stories of superheroes aren't everywhere. They are they are special for, and it's very different in everything, but in every sense, and the workflow and the system, everything was different, really. But I must say I was given all the assistance and the help and the guidance I needed from the amazing people at Marvel. And in the end, I kept reminding myself, we are all up to the same thing. We are all chasing this incredible and unforgettable moment we always try to create on screen, even for a couple of seconds, a fraction of a second, maybe, or for 2 minutes or whatever. It,
and I've got
it
to ask
doesn't
as well.
matter really. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you carry on. You carry on.
It doesn't matter really. Is it done in Egypt or in Los Angeles, or in London, it's just the same. We are all, no matter the system is different, the means and the tools are different, but we are all chasing this unforgettable moment we try to create.
And what was your like personal highlight? What was like your like favorite track from the soundtrack?
From the Moon Knight soundtrack?
From the Moon, yeah, from the Moon Knight's soundtrack.
Oh, that's, that's kind of hard to pick because, well, the thing is, uh, the main Moon Knight theme was the portal, my portal to the rest of the score. So I hold so much appreciation to it. I'm so appreciative to it because it came to me and it helped me the evolving and developing the rest of the score. So I'm building it, the whole thing on that theme. So wherever it is and wherever it comes, I'm appreciative and I like it. So
It,
yeah,
it,
that's
it is fantastic. And I'm gonna say,
thank you.
sort of how do you feel now? Like the reaction from the internet is out, and people's reaction to like not just the series, but also to your contributions. And how does it feel like now the whole series is out?
It's great, Marvel fans are all over the globe. I mean, I'm getting, you retweets and comments from India, from Japan, from China, from Brazil, from Costa Rica, and from Egypt and from London, and it's of course from the US. It's amazing. It's amazing, and when I get to realize that I was, you know, talking to the practically the whole world through this Moon Knight. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and I've got to obviously ask, should they do another Moon Knight series, or perhaps Moon Knight appears in a movie? Would you also like to just return and do some, to carry on like your adventures with the MCU?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, you got obviously because I mean it's such an incredible experience doing something for Marvel, and I think as well with the soundtracks being so unique and stuff. But I got to ask, did you have any involvement also in like picking some of the other songs like Wham and from you know, or was that done by Marvel or the director?
No, no. I take no credit. Just that it was absolutely yeah. No. I took no part to it, and they were there. Actually, most of them were there in place before I arrived, before I was onboarded the project. So it was the director's absolute.
Yeah, it was. I do remember just distinctively kind of thinking like the Wham ice cream in the sort of the bakery van was a very like unique choice, but very British at the same
Very clever
time.
choices. Very clever choices. Yeah. Yeah.
And sort of pretty much sort of finding something a little bit slightly different is excluding Moon Knight, what has been your favorite Disney Plus original so far?
Actually, Disney Plus, the platform is not operating in Egypt
Oh
up
yeah.
until now, so I didn't get the chance to see. But I'm a huge fan of Marvel, and I love, of course, all the Avengers. And Tony Stark is a great character, of course, Iron Man and Spider Man, and I'm a big Marvel fan,
Yeah. I
and
just
of course Disney. I mean, of course Disney fan. Who isn't?
yeah.
But I can't wait for the Disney Plus platform to be operating. It should be operating in a
Uh,
month or two,
yeah,
maybe in the
I
region.
think
I
it's
think so.
June 12th, I think it is. I think it's going to be when
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
launching. But yeah, just again, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to me about Moon Knight. I mean, it's just been incredible, an incredible series, and yeah, I was just really kind of like to be able to speak to you and to just dip into your mind a bit on how you created Moon. The sound for it was so amazing, and I've been to Egypt a few times as well, so I
Oh
instantly kind of
wow.
sort of felt that feeling, and I
Oh, wow.
completely I just and also just being British, it just the whole series just really connected with me, and I just love that whole like Egyptian side to it, and bringing that sort of side into the MCU.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.